that they are in the middle of mediation. So what we also witnessed is that the Lungu family was not there this morning, and on their side they were being represented by our own advocate Ngukaitobi SC. And the matter indeed has been adjourned until this Monday for more, finality to this matter.
Gambian police have charged 3 women over the death of a 1-month-old baby girl who had undergone female genital mutilation in a case that has sparked an outcry across the country. The 3 were charged under the Women's Amendment Act 2015, a landmark law criminalizing female genital mutilation. One of the women faces life imprisonment and has been remanded in custody, while the 2 others were charged as accomplices and granted bail. And finally, the governor of California has launched a campaign to redraw the state's congressional map to boost the number of Democratic seats. Gavin Newsom says the aim is to counter Republican moves in Texas, where they currently unveiled a plan to flip 5 Democratic districts ahead of next year's midterm elections in the U.S. The BBC's David Willies has the story.
Mr. Newsom said Californians will vote in November on the creation of temporary congressional districts that would afford Democrats the possibility of acquiring a similar advantage in next year's midterm elections. Passage of the redistricting bill in Texas was temporarily thwarted after more than 50 Democratic lawmakers fled the state, depriving Republicans of the quorum needed to pass that legislation. Although following California's move, they are now planning to return home.
For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 6 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Good afternoon and happy Friday. Welcome to The Upside on Channel Africa, the African Perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko, Mosito. We're coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you so much for choosing us this afternoon. Stream us on our social media platforms. That's at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. You can also check us out on our website. That's www.channelafrica.co.za. DSTV channel 802, OpenView channel 628, and as always, you can download that SABC Plus app on your Android or your iOS device so you can take us with you wherever you go. We'd love to hear from you this afternoon. Where are you listening to us from? Where are you streaming us from? Anywhere around the world, in the diaspora, anywhere in the continent. Our WhatsApp line is +2763 406 9126. It's a good afternoon to you, Mmatsheko Mosito. How are you doing?
Boo, 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 boo. That's how I'm doing. I'm so happy you're back. Like, you are the most important feature on the show.
Wow, that So sweet.
I get extra excitosis when you are back.
Sweet. Listen, I missed you guys yesterday.
Don't
and,
tell me
story,
you went game driving without me.
No. Unfortunately, no. It was not that case yesterday, unfortunately. And a story for another day.
Well.
I'll share my woes another day. But today is a Friday.
Yes.
Right? It's sort of a musical Friday. It's a day of celebration. Just good vibes. The weekend is upon us. And that's what we'll be doing on the show today. But we start off, Mmatsheko, with an interesting conversation. You know how we get tips and advice about just about anything on social media now. Outside of Google, we are on TikTok, we are searching, we are looking for recommendations, but also we are looking for advice. But is social media the best place to find that financial advice? From influencers, should we trust those content creators when they tell us, save here, invest there? We'll be getting an expert on the line this afternoon to debunk so that we can look out for some of those red flags. And then we are celebrating African music with a couple of artists who will be joining us in studio. How exciting is that?
Listen, our madam producer has just been making sure that we get to meet the most amazing people. So from designers on Thursday to musicians
I missed
on
that
this
one
day.
yesterday. I was so sad. I saw it on social media.
Oh, it was powerful.
LSJ. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I saw
yes.
it. Was
I'm
brilliant.
glad you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from fashion to music, I think just that seamless move and meeting interesting people. And we're very excited to take you on that journey with us as you listen to the show.
Oh, listen, I was on Spotify this morning while I was on the treadmill, right? So on Spotify, I was on the charts looking at the different countries.
Yes.
And I realized that South Africa really are consuming amapiano. Like the top 10 there is amapiano. But I tell you who else is dominating. The Zulu nation in South Africa are dominating those charts. Maskandi there. I'll break it down some other time. But what I'm saying is shout out to the Zulu nation. You are making the country dance and move around on Spotify, that is specifically.
Do you have a favorite Maskandi song?
It's 10 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Which one is yours?
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
O Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
Zochitika ndimodapiri kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse.
Mabhizinesi osiyana-siyana mdziko la South Africa ayamba kukhoma msonkho wa 30% akamagulitsa katundu wawo ku dziko la United States of America. Nepanoteli ndikatswiri wa zachuma mdziko la Malawi Dr. Bertha Chikadza. Boma la South Africa masiku apitawo linanena kuti ngati America akani kutsitsa msonkho bomalo lipeza misika ina. Mungatifotokozere kuti ndizotheka South Africa kupeza misika yomwe ingabweretse ndalama pafupifupi $15 billion zomwe imapezeka ku misika ya ku America.
Tinene kuti izizi zitha kuchitika koma sizingachitike mwa pompopompo chifukwa tikaonetsetsa izi zinthu zokuti inali msika wa dziko la America noni msika wakukhazikika umene dziko la South Africa linali likazolowera kale. Tsono kuti tingonena kuti dziko la South Africa lipezanso msika mwina mwasangasanga kuti lizitumiza katundu wake mwina sizingachitike chifukwa chokuti tikunena pena apa pa $15 billion ndi ndalama zambiri ndithu.
Zochitika ndi Madaphiri. Lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito. Only on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Say I be their master, all of them shout Sifu. Going out and coming in, see my God is merciful. People with sabi pass me for this game, no reach to. Cause the game be like hard, very soon I must speak to. Shana me you want the wine, I be you don't the blind. I be you no fear God, as my water turn to wine. Your sense we no see, evidence we no see. They say we manipulate your own if easy. They say me I never blow, my EP no go blow. They say me I just a waste money online, they help people. What's the use of my fame if I know fi help people? Who God give complete leg, make it know they laugh cripple. Cause the pays to do good, except the person no good. I been a bad thing I do, as I decide to do good. God you hear my prayer, you know my heart and my soul. When my EP it drop, make it touch them for soul. Make the shout Isco. Tell all these boys and girls, make them no joke with me. My flows are so tight, I just sabi the thing is choking me. Isco, copy. Tell all these boys and girls, make them no joke with me. My flows are so tight, I just sabi the thing is choking me. Isco, copy. Greetings everybody. I'm not like everybody. Truth be told, I don't like everybody. Isco, copy. Allah, wow, Allah. Wait. Isco. Tell all these boys and girls, make them no joke with me. My flows are so tight, I just sabi the thing is choking me. Isco. Cause it pays to do good, except the person no good. I been a bad thing I do, as I decide to do good. God, you hear my prayer, you know my heart and my soul. When my EP it drop, make it touch them for soul. Make the shout Isco.
Oh.
Tell all these boys and girls, make them no joke with me. My flows are so
Moments of air caught on air. Man, I'm loving this guy's vibe. Where is he from? Kokopi coming through with Shino.
What's his name?
Or Shina. Oh my goodness. What a hot piece of music. And it's clearly injecting some novelty on the upside because it is the first time that we play it. So listen, maybe you're a big Kokopi fan. Please throw some wonderful facts my direction. I'd love to know more about him. I like his vibe. I like what he's about. Huh? We're in the first hour of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Nothing online.
Oh, Nigerian.
Is he from Nigeria?
Nigerian.
I love his vibe.
Based on what I'm seeing, yeah. I don't know why this information wasn't so readily available. I sort of had
literally had to dig
through, some information there. But looks like Nigeria.
Oh, we need to find him.
To come to the show.
Oh, we need to find him for the upside. So he can tell us about Shana and other songs that he's composed.
Yes.
Because he's onto something. 16 minutes past 1 p.m. in Central African Time. Thanks for joining us. Social media as your advisory board. What do you think about that?
Skeptical at times when it comes to anything on social media. You know, you sort of take everything with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
I've seen ridiculous ones, right? By ridiculous, I mean ridiculous, right? And it's got nothing to do with our conversation. I've seen someone take a empty roll of empty toilet roll, right? And they sort of say, "Stop wasting money, don't throw it away," and then they put it under a tap with water, make it wet, and then they throw it in the microwave, and then after a few seconds, they open it. It's a new roll of toilet paper. So everything on social media take with a pinch of salt. But from TikTok trends like cash stuffing to viral phrases like loud budgeting, the internet is buzzing with bite-sized money tips that promise to change how we save and spend. Under hashtags like hashtag FinTalk, billions of views are turning finance into something fun, fast, and relatable, especially for younger audiences. But here's the catch. While these videos might be inspiring, they're not always accurate, and they rarely factor in your unique financial reality. That's where the pros come in. Today we are joined by Juanita Isaacs, head of key accounts at Momentum, to unpack how we can enjoy the best of both worlds, using social media for motivation while leaning on expert advice to build a solid personal plan. Juanita, thank you so much for your time and welcome to The Upside.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start off with what you think about platforms like social media, TikTok, and how we are seeing sort of fintech influencers, people who are not necessarily accredited or trained, but these are people who have played around with certain apps, certain gadgets, or whatever the case may be, giving advice on social media on how we should spend our money, budget, invest. What do you think about these platforms as a way for people to express how they go about using money and informing other people? Is this a good thing, or is this it's not make sure?
Well, I think we should be speaking the same language as a start. Advice on social media? No, that makes me very uncomfortable. I think there are lots of concerns with the idea of somebody giving advice and telling people what actions to take with their finances without knowing their full financial circumstances. But to take a step back, you asked me about how I feel about social media in general as a platform like this. I think it's actually fantastic that people are talking more about their money.
Yeah.
And I think relatable content, which is really what social media is all about. I was listening to your story earlier, as much as that example was bizarre. It's also engaging, it's entertaining, it's something that makes you watch, it's the natural clickbait to see it through and see what happens. So being able to use such an engaging platform and to find users where they are, not just where they are digitally, because everyone's on social media, but also where they are from an aspirations perspective, values perspective. These are the people I follow because I want to have the lifestyle that they have. Having that kind of engagement around finance, I think, is really good benefits. I think that motivating people to think about their budgets, even in your example, to think about not wasting money, under consumption you mentioned, all of those things that are now becoming part of what we talk about, I think that element of it is fantastic. It's really putting how you think about your personal financial picture front and center, which I think South Africans sorely need. In terms of the next step, though, advice, what actions to take, which financial products to use, that's where a professional comes in and where it becomes really difficult to actually just immediately go from inspiration to action.
Right. I love the direction that our conversation is taking. We've opened up space for conversation on money, which unfortunately in many communities has been taboo. Juanita Isaacs is joining us in her capacity as head of key accounts at Momentum, and we're talking about using social media as a platform to give financial advice, but also, are you taking this financial advice? I've seen hashtags like FinTalk, where both professionals, both those that are credible and qualified, hop on to give advice, and those that are just going by winging it or going by experience to share about money matters. But let's continue our conversation. I'd really like us to delve into financial content creators and how we can tell whether somebody is credible or qualified. We'll be right back.
The Morning Switch Weekend with the Shy Guy.
Just the other day, I went to pick up my daughter from school, and as per usual, her friends, they usually come to my car just to say hellos and goodbyes. So this particular day, they made this comment about my jacket, saying that it's giving baddie vibes.
You say my jacket is giving what?
It's giving baddie vibes.
Baddie vibes.
It got me thinking, where did the baddies come from? Because nothing is new under the sun, as it is said. I was like, oh yes, remember the Kenyan parliamentarian? Her name is Millie Odhiambo.
When you are urging me to be a good example to the girls, the younger ones who are doing their first term, Mr. Speaker, if they are good girls, they'll never get corner office. Be as bad as Millie Odhiambo, you will be the mother of this house. So do not be cheated like the African culture, where you are told have decorum, be nice. I'm telling you, you will go nowhere. Be a bad girl like me.
And I thought to myself, that is the original baddie.
Saturday and Sunday mornings belong to the Morning Switch. 3 to 6 a.m. Central African Time. The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito. Only on Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
It's exactly 23 minutes past 1 p.m. in Central African Time. Thank you for tuning in. We are talking money matters, but in this case, we're talking about social media as a platform to give and receive very critical financial advice. Okay, money is very sensitive. Okay, but it flows, and we want it to flow in the right direction. So, are you taking advice from social media experts? And I use that term very cautiously because some people that hop onto the platforms aren't necessarily experts. So we have our expert on the line, Juanita Isaacs, who is head of key accounts at Momentum. Juanita, thank you for holding the line. Let's talk about how one is able to determine if somebody is a credible or qualified financial advisor. It would be very easy for me to go on a social media platform with my big English that I got off of ChatGPT, for example, and start giving people advice, So how is somebody able to determine if this is a legitimate person who's giving me advice on social media?
Yeah, so the starting point is that we should look to social media for education, for tips, for inspiration. We should not be looking to social media for the specific professional accredited advisors that we want to work with. And the main reason for that is that somebody on social media that you don't have a personal relationship with and that may not even be in your geographic location is not necessarily going to be best fit to give you the quality of advice that you need to. So that's starting point. If you are engaging with someone or an entity on social media, the next thing is the red flag. So this is what to look out for that absolutely would tell you that this is not something that you should follow up on. And this is where there are calls to action and promises made that seem unrealistic. There is no quick fix solution to making money, and a professional qualified advisor would never do that. They would never promise you big return or certain rand amounts in short periods of time and say, click here, act now. For me, it's almost the opposite. Rather than starting from the point of view of how do I know this is legitimate, people should have a lens on to say this might not be legitimate, and ways to tell that it's probably not would be where there are promises made, unrealistic promises made, and calls to action where you need to act now, you need to put your money into this bank account, a bank account in a personal capacity. That's a huge red flag as a potential scam. But then failing that, if you really are engaging with someone that you have found online and that you think is a legitimate, professional, qualified financial advisor, you can check that by going onto the FSCA's website. All financial advisors accredited in South Africa are on the website, and that'll at least tell you that this is a qualified professional.
Juanita, if someone has then fallen victim to maybe one of these so-called financial advisors, and is not a real financial advisor, and they've deposited that money into that account, is there any retribution? Are there any steps that they can take? Is there any sort of legal recourse? I know you're not speaking from a legality point of view, but are there steps that we can take? Because you're talking about these calls to action, promises made. For a lot of people, that's very enticing, and that's very easy for them to just jump onto that particular content creators platform and engage with them and start sending them money. Are there ways for us to get that money back or report? What are the steps that we should take?
There are definitely ways, and there's a lot of focus on this in the South African industry as well as globally. the best line of defense, obviously, and I'm repeating myself, it is for us to be more sensible and really a lot more discerning and critical of what we see online. But if something does happen, you can report it to the FSCA. You can also report it to the police. There are police that investigate this kind of fraud, online fraud as well. But if it is somebody that you think or that has come across as a professional in the financial services industry, the FSCA take that very seriously and they will investigate as well. In terms of getting the money back, I must be honest, and this is why I started with saying our best line of defense is our own critical lens. It's typically quite hard to get the money back. The investigations do proceed, and often we do find the culprits, and there's been lots of media over the years of people who've been found guilty. Some have been jailed for very long jail terms. Did the retirees that were defrauded get their money? No, they did not. And that's really the tragedy of it. You can find the person and you can put a stop to that particular activity, but really putting everybody back in the financial place that they would have been in, that's been extremely difficult. And so our first line of defense is ourselves being critical of these things, making sure that you actually engage with somebody that you know can be trusted.
Right. Very, very important. I'm also just very careful that we don't turn this conversation into one that just bashes social media, because I'm sure there's some really wonderful things that come from this. Like, for example, I can ask my financial advisor about something that I heard on social media that I would want to discuss with them as a professional. So in just a few minutes, if we could keep it very pithy, Juanita, talk to us about weighing the pros and cons of using social media to our advantage. Of course, in conjunction with me consulting with a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. So I quite highly recommend people finding people to follow, influencers on social media that they do find aspirational and that give the kind of content that really makes you feel like you can get control over your money. Keep in mind that budgeting and inspiration are really what you want to be getting. Financial tips, things that inspire you and make you want to make changes in your life one step at a time. And as you said, that give you something to talk to your financial advisor about, a new idea, a new investment opportunity that you think makes sense in your circumstances.
Right.
Anything actually that helps you have a conversation with your financial advisor. In fact, the financial advisor would appreciate the opportunity to engage with you, relook at your circumstances and start taking next steps. I think social media has a big role to play, like I said earlier, in just making the money conversation a lot more front and center, and it is something that we all need.
Juanita, this has been such a valuable conversation. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and we hope that those listening in will spot those red flags and not, especially your advice there, use some sense, common sense. And it may not be common to all of us, but let's be a bit common and sensible when it comes to these matters. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Juanita.
Thank you for having me.
The voice of Juanita Isaacs, head of key accounts at Momentum, saying although it is fantastic that you're getting influencers talking about financial matters, there are red flags that you need to look out for, and that you need to make sure that they're accredited. Go to the FSCA website to ensure that they are registered, or talk to your financial advisor about advice that you have heard on social media. Don't just blanketly adopt it because you heard your favorite content creator talking about it. It's 30 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in sports.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
And a very good afternoon from the sports desk. I am Mosibu Dimakura with your latest sports news at the Sawa. So the Springbok coach Rassie Rasmus has been forced to make a late change to his replacement bench for tomorrow's opening rugby championship match against Australia in Johannesburg. Now, utility front row forward Jan Hendrik Wessels was forced to withdraw after picking up an injury at a training session on Wednesday. He will now be replaced by prop Juan Venter. Now, Venter, who made his test debut against Georgia just last month, Bonambi as well as Asinati Ntlabakanye are the backup front row forwards for the Springboks for tomorrow's match. The encounter will also mark Venter's first rugby championship test match and his first against the Wallabies. Kick-off for that game is at 5 p.m. Central African time. Onto this story now. The South African Football Association President Dr. Danny Jordan and his co-accused will be back in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court in Johannesburg today. Jordan, as well as the SAFA CFO Lekhuleni, face charges of fraud as well as conspiracy to commit fraud. It is alleged that Jordan used the Federation's resources for personal gain, such as hiring a private security company for protection. It also alleges that Jordan appointed a public relations company following a charge of rape levelled against him. The director of the company, Trevor Neethling, also faces 2 counts of fraud. The trio are out of bail of $1,000 and have pleaded not guilty to all charges. Onto this story now. The nomination Athletics South Africa High Performance Manager, that is Ezekiel Sipeng, says his nomination for Sports Administrator of the Year at the SA Sports Awards is an honour and a testament of the achievements of South African athletes. The 1996 Olympic 800-metre silver medalist will contend for the title alongside Tennis South Africa President Gavin Crooks, as well as Cricket South Africa's Poletsi Moseki. So while also acknowledging SA recent negative publicity as well as the criticism levelled against his federation, Sipeng believes the athlete's consistent success does indeed speak volumes.
A big honor, You know, I grew up there in an environment where whatever I do, you must be recognized. I mean, as an athlete, you win medals, then you are recognized. I came into athletics since 2010, and I moved and I find myself in this space where I feel how we and our athlete has been doing very well.
In tennis news now, the defending champion Yannick Sinner swept past Felix Auger-Aliassime 6-love and 6-2 on Thursday to reach the Cincinnati Open semi-finals, with the world number 1 extending his hard-court winning streak to 25 matches. So Sinner delivered a dominant performance, capitalizing on his opponent's 29 unforced errors to claim the first win in 3 meetings against the Canadian 23rd seed in just 71 minutes on court. The 23-year-old Italian became only the 5th man the century to record 25 consecutive victories on the surface alongside Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, as well as Andy Murray. He will next face French qualifier Terence Atmane, who continued his impressive run by upsetting Danish 7th-seed Holger Rune 6-2 and 6-3. Meanwhile, the world number 2 Coco Gauff beat Lucia Bronzetti 6-2 and 6-4 to book her place in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Open. The 2 players had progressed to the last 16 in contrasting ways, with Gauff having won her only match in straight sets before the walkover against Diana Yastremska of the Ukraine in the last round. Now, Bronzetti, on the other hand, had come through in 3 sets in her previous 3 rounds, and the world number 61 quickly found herself 3-love down. Gauff was broken in the 5th game, but it proved a brief blip as she went on to win the opening set in just 33 minutes. The American went on to go 2-love up in the 2nd set, but then suffered another lapse when she was broken 2-love by the Italian in the 3rd game. Gauff now will face off with Italy's Yasmin Paolini in the next round for place in the semi-finals. She won her encounter 6-1, 6-2 against Barbora Krejcikova of the Czech Republic. The time is 13:35 p.m. Central African Time, and that's a wrap of your sports news this hour. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, simply send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Alternatively, give us a call. The newsroom line is +27 11714 4459. I'm back with more sports news in the next hour. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Mosito Makure.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Young couples or young people that are getting married, we often hear of divorces, that they're getting divorced, and it's quite worrying because when we attend these weddings, we want to see these people flourish and celebrate 30-year anniversaries. What do you think is the main challenge that is facing newlyweds?
We say that tell me how you were raised and I'll tell you how you love. So when we see people getting married, that's not where the relationship actually starts. The relationship starts with how you were raised, what you were familiar with, because we are attracted to what we are familiar with. If you don't have a background where love was prominent, where love was authentic, it's going to be very difficult for you to manufacture that in later life. So our upbringing has something to do with it.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege.
Annika Longi sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons à présent dérouler notre tapis rouge pour accueillir notre personnalité du jour, l'artiste chanteur Sheki Frey, qui est en ligne de Guinée avec nous.
Je suis un artiste guinéen, un créateur, un styliste. Et je fais un peu ce qui plaît à mes fans. Voilà, c'est un peu ça. On a beaucoup déjà de trucs à faire, mais bon, pour le moment, on est basé un peu sur le rap.
D'accord. À quelle période de votre vie avez-vous commencé à vous intéresser à la musique, Sheki?
Bon, je crois pas qu'il y ait une période, hein, parce que moi, je suis un mélomane depuis mon petit âge.
Annika Longi, tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
37 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time. Let's say good afternoon now to Nosipho Zuma, who's standing by with business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, South Africa's rand firmed against a weaker dollar, helped by higher gold prices as worries over the United States fiscal health sent investors into a safe haven asset. The rand traded at 17.52 against the dollar, about 0.5% stronger than its previous close. Gold prices gained, boosted by a pullback in the dollar, which was last trading down about 0.3% against a basket of currencies. Chief Commissioner for International Trade Administration Commission in South Africa, Ayabonga Chawe, says the country will release the preliminary findings of its review of steel tariffs next week, moving a step closer to protecting the local industry from increased imports. The review was initiated by the Commission in March following a ministerial directive. South Africa's steel industry faces numerous challenges, including an influx of low-price imports due to overcapacity, primarily in China. South Africa's Nedbank Group has agreed to sell its 21.2% stake in Pan-African lender EcoBank to the private investment vehicle of financier Ellen Kachu for $100 million. Nedbank says it wants to sell the stake, citing regulatory uncertainties, potentially higher capital requirements, and plans to focus on Southern and Eastern Africa. EcoBank's operations in Central and West Africa are exposed to some economies that have been pressured by unfavorable currency swings since Nedbank bought the stake in 2014. Air Canada and its unionized flight attendants remain at odds despite government pleas for both sides to return to bargaining to avert a strike that would upend travel for tens of thousands of passengers. Chandu Golikeke has the details.
Canada's largest carrier says it expects to cancel 500 flights by the end of the day, leaving some 100,000 passengers scrambling for alternatives. The carrier's 10,000 flight attendants are gearing up to strike tomorrow over stalled contract talks on union demands for higher wages and compensation for unpaid work.
And finally, Taiwan's economy is expected to grow faster in 2025 than previously forecast as the island continues to reap the benefits of strong demand for tech and artificial intelligence-related products. Taiwan's gross domestic product is now expected to expand to 4.45% this year, higher than 3.1% it forecast in May. Exports this year from Taiwan are predicted to expand by 24.4%, upgrading sharply a previous forecast of 8.99%. Your financial indicators: one US dollar in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 532, and Botswana is 13.26. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 412, and in Zambia is 23 kwacha 10. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5.40. Russia is 79 rubles 64. India is 87 rupees 57. China at 7 yuan 17. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 56. $1 is trading at 73 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,341 and platinum at $1,355 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.26 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Mosito Zuma.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Uzuri na ukubwa wa kazi yako unatokana na nini?
Kwanza kabisa ni kujifunza vitu mbalimbali, lakini pia kuvaa uhalisia wa jamii kile inachopitia, kujifunza vitu vipya, lakini pia kufanya mazoezi na kumshirikisha Mungu katika career yangu ya muziki.
Bila shaka. Je, management na wadhamini vile vile wana nafasi kubwa au wana nafasi gani katika mafanikio yako kikazi?
Niseme labda wana 99% katika mafanikio ya muziki wangu, management au mabosi wangu.
Umewahi pia kupokea salamu za pongezi au ukosoaji kuhusiana na muziki wako?
Nilishapokea nyingi sana kutoka sehemu mbalimbali, DRC, Tanzania na East Africa nzima kwa jumla.
Tuzungumzie kuhusu ukosoaji sasa. Unajisikia pale unapokosolewa?
Najisikia vizuri sana. Unajua, usipokosolewa ina maana wewe sio binadamu wa kawaida, kwa sababu asiyekosolewa pekee ni Mungu.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito. Only on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Make a new life for you. I've been in love with you since I laid eyes on you. Yeah, I wanna take you to the moon. Put stars for your roof. Ball you like politician. Reason I the house with a little kid. Girl I the trick, make a time my shoelace. Your body nice and you make a man brand new. Make a day your side. Is that wrong? If me know they cool, come put all the fire on me. Fire on me. Your desires on me. Come with the fire, mommy. Fire on me. Fire on me. Put your desires on me. Come with the fire, mommy. Fire on me. Girl, I know go act like I'm Messiah. When I make mistakes, no be kumbaya. I Hakuna Matata, but I aim high. You never speaking for this. Your story never updates. Girl, I fall and see your face, but I'm 1,000 miles away. Fire on me. Fire on me. Put your desires on me. Come with the fire, mommy. Fire on me. Fire
Fire on Me, Black Bones. Beautiful music coming to you this afternoon on The Upside. Thank you so much for tuning in on Channel Africa, The African Perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko, Mosito. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Thank you so much for choosing us this afternoon. Catch us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. And we'd love to hear from you, actually. Where are you listening to us from? Where are you streaming us from this afternoon? +27634069126 is the WhatsApp line. It is now time for What Caught Your Eye. Would you like to start this afternoon, Madam Mmatsheko?
I think you can start today.
Do you want me to start?
Because I started yesterday.
Wow. Oh, is that how it works now?
I'm being silly.
I can start. Yes. start. I tell you what. There's a young South African lady, who almost missed out on a lottery jackpot because when they were calling her, she thought it was telesales. That's how traumatized we are as a nation when it comes to telesales calling us on a daily basis, to the point where we will miss out on our jackpot. The amount of money that she would have lost out on had she not eventually picked up the call is a jaw-dropping 124.6 million rand. That was the Powerball jackpot. The winning numbers there, 10, 32, 34, 40, 48, and the bonus ball, 14. She says here, I finally answered on Friday, and my bank told me to go to the nearest eTuba office. They didn't say how much I had won. Only when I got there did I hear I'd hit the jackpot. I am still in shock. 124.6 million rand. First of all, congratulations. She's now a proper millionaire. What do you do with that kind of money?
Take a deep breath, first of all. Look, there's lots to do. There's lots to do. Listen, can I just be honest?
Yeah.
I would quit working.
You'd quit working?
In the traditional sense of, trading my time for money. And I would quit that.
So we know that the next time Mmatsheko doesn't make it to work the next day,
she's won the lotto.
All right. So it's like that. Okay.
No, but also, I would dedicate my entire life to humanitarian work. I would still be working, but it would be a give back button work.
Why did I think you'd say something like I would buy something, go shopping, a whole shopping spree, go on a holiday for a whole couple of months, if not a year?
If I'm going to buy stuff with that amount of money, it would most likely be, properties, holiday properties. Because I got a splurge on myself too.
Of course.
So I would buy some holiday properties on the African continent, and I would also buy spaces that I can turn into safe houses for women and children, and we build community. We get out of the mentality of ghettos and townships, and we get into spaces that don't necessarily have to be fancy and big buildings and double stories, but community, where there's gardens and parks for children to play, and libraries, and and agriculture, and things like that.
Very humanitarian indeed. It's 10 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African time. I'd love to get the technical guys' input, but we'll ask them after this what they will do with 124.6 million rand.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Tumetoka kusikiliza wimbo na huu ni utunzi wako, wewe ndio umeandika mistari, na imani wewe ndio umeandika mstari. Tuanzie kwenye jina. Wimbo unaenda kwa jina gani?
Wimbo unaitwa Kanjori.
Kanjori. Kanjori maana yake nini?
Kama jinsi nilivyoimba. Nauza wazo leo, kesho nawazo uzuri wake, mwendo wake. Japata sio mfikirio. Ukekau matendo yake, changu chake.
Unatisha kweli. Kanjori. Ni historia gani au message gani ambayo imefichama nyuma ya wimbo huu?
Kanjori kwa ufupi ni kitu kizuri, yani kitu kidogo, kitu kadogo yani, alafu ni kazuri ambapo kanavutia kwa kila mtu.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
It's 8 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. South Africa's latest jackpot winner, Powerball jackpot winner, walking away with 124.6 million rand. Congratulations to her. She won. I don't know what her plans are. I'm hoping that she'll get proper counsel, financial counsel, before she starts splurging. But let's ask the guys behind the decks, or the technical desk. Abotato, Abontando, Abotuto, our technical directors. What would you guys do with 124.6 million rand? Ntando, let's start with you.
Okay, me, good afternoon. Before anything, take a shower, wash off the brokenness for the last time. Whatever.
Yes, yes, sir.
Shower and let's wash off the brokenness.
Yes, sir.
The last time.
All right.
And we're buying property, whatever.
All right. I love that. All right.
My favorite response.
Take a shower and wash off the brokenness for the very last time. All right. Tuto, what are you going to do?
I honestly don't have an idea at the moment, but 124.6 million.
0.6.
Whoa. That's a lot of money.
Whoa.
There's a point something. I think that's so cool.
Let me give you the actual amount. 124,602,697 rand and 30 cents. But we'll stick to 124.6 million for the purpose of our conversation. So, Tuto, you don't know what you'll do with the money yet.
No idea.
All right. Tato, what are you going to do with that money, sir? 124.6 million. Let's go.
Yeah, you have to sit down first. Yeah. Sit down.
Yeah.
And have a glass of water.
Yes, sir.
And think it through. Yeah.
Think it through.
Yeah, but property. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that, and I think work. Yeah.
I
like
love
Mmatsheko.
that.
I would trade my time. Actually, invest more in my own time. Yeah.
In your own time. Love that. You see what that money can do for you. Okay. All right. I'm loving these suggestions. So none of you would go to maybe a casino and say double it, say take 1 point and put it on red or black.
Maybe goodness.
We'll buy the casino.
You'd buy the.
That's the response right there.
Hey, by the way, I'm not advocating for irresponsible gambling. If you want to do it responsibly, and do it and have fun. If you want to do it like that, responsibly, of course. 124.6 million rand.
What are you going to do with it? Mfundis, tell us.
Wow. Remember the last time? We actually had a conversation about this earlier this year, a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Yes.
And I had said that if I had won such a huge sum of money, I would go away for a whole year. Just to go and
I remember
figure out exactly what I'm doing with this money. I need a place that doesn't have a lot of noise, secluded, right? So I can think properly. Because you need to plan for this. You don't just do whatever. You need to remove the negativity, be away from certain energies.
Change your mindset as well.
The mindset, the scenery as well. So for a whole year, I'll probably just go away and just think about it. I'll be off grid. And then when I come back, you'll see the money move. What caught your eye this afternoon as we continue with what caught your eye?
It's actually more a thought than anything that I've kind of picked up on social media. I'm trying to think where the thought came from. I think perhaps with the woman that was talking on TikTok, just sort of letting women in South Africa know about their options when it comes to having a baby, having children.
Okay.
And she was just giving, advice and the knowledge that she had around a certain hospital which can provide IVF for free of charge. We know how expensive that process is. So IVF, very briefly, is in vitro fertilization. So if you have any kind of fertility problems, that basically can help you. But I started thinking about adoption. on the African continent. And actually, we were talking about that as well.
Yeah.
And that also may have kind of gotten me really thinking about adoption trends across the African continent. You know, it's a subject that is important, but it's also very complex because there's different laws in different regions of our continent.
Yeah.
But everywhere you go, we know that there's a reality of children, you know, being born under circumstances that are not favorable, and they're constantly looking for homes, you know, whether they're newborns or whether they're still under the age of 12. So adoption as an option to really just absorb these precious lives into, you know, homes that are loving, that are, you know, that can grow them and help them, you know, with this economic and social stability in that community, etc. Are we talking enough about adoption? Are we thinking hard enough about adoption? What circumstances would be great for us to think about adoption? Because, you know, a child is a child, I think. And if, you know, somebody's able to place a child in a good home, then there's massive opportunity for that, I think. So I've been thinking a lot about adoption.
Are you trying to adopt yourself?
Not at the moment, but I am thinking about it down the line when I win $127 million actually.
Oh, dollars would have been worse. Okay, but you are thinking it would be a consideration for you in the future.
100% consideration in the future. Right. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Here's an interesting thing. I don't know if in the African continent as a culture we really do the whole adopting. We raise our sister's kids if she passed away. We just take them. We don't do the whole formalized adoption, writing on paper, documentation. No, you're my child now.
Yes.
And that's how we go about doing it. But there are many orphanages in South Africa, in Africa, with a lot of children in there still having not been adopted. And if anyone is adopting them, it's usually people coming from international markets. It's not really us in Africa. And I don't know. I think it's the children need family, they need structure. And it's something that we need to open ourselves a bit more to, the idea of adoption in the formal sense, going to orphanages and not just taking on our children or our siblings' children, because that you can sort of put in your own control and say, okay,
yes.
you have a gauge on that. But to actively go to an orphanage and say, I see there are children here, let me bring them as my own. I think we can do better as a continent, as African people, when it comes to that. So it's an interesting conversation.
And I really like that you brought that in, because that's where it starts for us. We're very big, generally as African people, on the family ties and the bloodline,
Yes,
you know, and keeping things inherently in that way. But 100% there is opportunity for us to go to the homes and the orphanages, especially when we look at what's happening in countries like DRC, for example, you know, and other places like Hazar. And, you know, there are many children that need a home. But it's a thought, you know, ponder on it. Let us know what you think of it as we take news. It is 2 p.m. in Central African time. Let's check in with the latest.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you. It's our top stories. Sawa protesters gather outside of South Africa's National Convention and the case of the late former Zambian president adjourned. Good afternoon. Protesters have gathered outside the University of South Africa's main campus in Pretoria, where the first sitting of the National Convention is currently underway. The presidency has described the National Convention as a call to action for citizens to lead an inclusive dialogue on the challenges that the country is facing. However, some groups feel they've been deliberately excluded from the process. Peter Monete from the Gauteng Housing Crisis Committee says they weren't aware of the registration process.
We came here to picket outside so that our grievances can be heard. First of all, there is an exclusion here. We are excluded from this national dialogue. From the setup, we think that the dialogue should represent the people from the ground. We can't be told that no, everyone was supposed to register. You register for what? That you don't understand, because our suspicion is that already ANC or the officials, they have already set up the standard that they want the outcomes of the dialogue.
Meanwhile, delivering the keynote address, President Cyril Ramaphosa has described the first sitting of that convention as a platform on which to openly and constructively confront the realities of the country.
This is not a partisan platform. This is a national platform. Here, no voice is too small. No perspective is too inconvenient to be heard. We are gathered to listen to each other, to understand one another, and to chart a common path forward for our country.
The application for leave to appeal in the dispute involving the family of Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu and the country's government has been adjourned to Monday. Reports suggest that the two parties are locked in mediation talks. Last week, the court ruled in favour of government that the former president's remains should be repatriated for burial in Zambia. Lungu died in South Africa in June while receiving medical attention. Channel Africa's Michael Mbewe was in court.
After an hour of delay before the commencement of the proceedings due to ongoing consultations between, the two parties outside court, what we all expected never happened when both counsels representing both applicants came to a conclusion that they are in the middle of mediation. So what we also witnessed is that the Lungu family was not there this morning, and on their side they were being represented by our own advocate, Nkaitobi SC. And the matter indeed has been adjourned until this Monday for more, finality to this matter.
Gambian police have charged 3 women over the death of a 1-month-old baby girl who had undergone female genital mutilation in a case that has sparked an outcry across the country. The 3 were charged under the Women's Amendment Act 2015, a landmark law criminalizing female genital mutilation. One of the women faces life imprisonment and has been remanded in custody, while the 2 others were charged as accomplices and granted bail. There's been angry reaction from several countries over the failure of global talks to agree to a treaty combating plastic pollution. Countries were split between those wanting curbs and plastic production, while oil-producing states pushing for a focus on recycling. The BBC's Imogen Folks has the story.
Small island states had pinned their hopes on a legally binding treaty. European countries concerned that microplastics are now present in our air, water and food also backed limits on plastic production. But oil-producing states opposed limits, arguing instead for improved recycling. The United Nations organised these negotiations. It wanted a consensus. None could be found.
Recapping the top story, the Sawa protesters have gathered outside the University of South Africa's main campus in Pretoria, where the first sitting of the National Convention is currently underway. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulongwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
6 minutes into 2 p.m. in Central African Time, The Upside with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mosito until 4 p.m. And this is us on a Friday. That's what we call it. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Listen, we should actually, since Tebogo is a musician / composer in the making, we're going to make a jingle / song for a Friday. Any grand ideas, sir?
How would it... Okay, wait. You're asking me for ideas.
Yes. Quickly, come on.
Well, you see, it would jump on this one. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Okay, I think that's enough singing.
I'll just be
before
at the back. I'll be your hype lady.
Before the record labels start contacting me non-stop. We're going to be getting into a conversation with Save HXPE. He's a South African rapper.
No, you got to say that right.
Oh. Save HXPE.
Save Hope.
Oh, is that? I didn't.
It's actually why we're getting him on the line so that he can explain what the X 5 years ago. So sometimes we miss these things as we grow older. You see,
X marks the spot for a lot of people. Some people sign using an X, but we'll be getting into conversation with Save Hope. It's from Lesotho. But it's for a lot of people. Some people sign using an X, but we'll be getting into conversation with Save Hope. It's from Lesotho, but is currently based in South Africa. Rapper and producer, to talk to us about his latest single called 80s Baby. I tell you, the 80s babies are not going to know that X means O. He's featuring Baby Diaz in this song, and he'll be joining us on the line in about 5 minutes' time. If you're a fan, if you're a Save Hope fan, let us know on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp line is +2763 406 9126. Any questions that you want to throw in his direction? He is a rising star, and perhaps you've already heard some of his work and would love to just pick his brain a bit during this hour. He'll be joining us live on Zoom. So if you are on your phone or watching us on television, at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok, so you can stream us live. Happy Friday to you. 80s baby. Why 80s baby? He's probably born in like 2000 something.
Maybe he's got a story about 80s babies, but you know, he's onto something. He's onto something, because if international superstars like Erykah Badu and South Africa's Khuli Chana are throwing praise your way, it means your creativity is bona, next level. Huh?
All right, our conversation with Save Hope is coming up next to talk all things 80s Baby featuring Baby Diaz. That conversation is coming up next.
Ukatili wa kijinsia unaharibu maisha na kutenga jamii. Hutokea nyumbani, shuleni, kazini na mara nyingi kwa ukimya. Lakini hauwezi kuendelea. Ukiona, ongea. Ikiwa unaumia, funguka, kwa sababu kutofanya lolote sio chaguo. Sikiliza vituo vyote 19 vya redio kuanzia Jumatano ya tarehe 23 Julai kwenye mijadala, ushauri, tamthilia, maonyesho ya elimu na mahojiano na wataalamu, manusura, watunga sheria na nchi nzima iliyoathirika na ukatili wa kijinsia kwenye vituo vyako pendwa vya redio. Piga simu 0800 428 428 ili kuripoti unyanyasaji au kupata msaada. GBV ikomeshwe na wewe. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na shirika la SABC.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The U.S. is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Your afternoons just got even better. Fresh and exciting. The Upside, hooking you up with today's news from an African perspective.
Oh, what a time to be alive. I pray to God. Cross on heart, she hope to die. Why would you lie? You ain't outside. Realize, realize, realize. That been said too many times. Tired like I'm on drive. I see beyond the human eye. Never been robbed. Couple try, but they fail hoorah. Never had a job. This my job, no on life. This is all I got. Never had a squad. Had brothers on my side. Anytime we just ride and slide. Mask on, don't confuse it with Stanley Yenkis. That's real. Hate to be the one to be specific. Whack rappers, keep your distance. In case you missed it, replay. Everybody listen, listen. I knew rapper fishing for attention. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, oh no, say it ain't so. Oh, what a time to be alive. No IG live. I thrive. That's the only way I'ma survive. French kiss this beat, come on, survive. How'd you guys crack the code? Just simplify. Never mind, I the game uncircumcised. Came from the ground, but I'm fertilized. Had to get rid of the pesticides. One of your boys just testified. Wow. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, oh no, say it ain't so. Oh no, oh no, say it ain't so.
"14 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time, Save Hope." That one titled "It Ain't So." What do you think? First time listening to Save Hope? Are you on the Save Hope bandwagon now after that one?
I think I'm a little too old for this music, but I think it's interesting that I'm hearing like blends of like heavy metal a little bit in there. I think that's very fascinating. So, I mean, we're going to unpack the music with rising South African-based rapper and producer born in Lesotho and just doing amazing things with his international sound. Save Hope is his name, originally from Lesotho, as I'd mentioned. And one of his singles is titled 80s Baby. And we actually, Tebogo and I were looking at the streaming numbers. No, not too shabby.
This is on Spotify, to be precise.
Yes, not too shabby at all. So the people are listening to the music out there, which is wonderful. So he is looking at taking African hip hop to another level by the sounds of things, you know, building on a sound that recalls the rhythm and energy of the 1980s. But we're going to find out more about his true inspirations from that era that are influencing what he's currently presenting. So I believe he's on the line already. Hello. Save Hope. Save Hope. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. I don't know whether to say how you do or how do you do or what's going on or what's up. I mean, what do they say these days?
I don't know. You can go with whatever. What's the level? How are you? You know?
I'm just being silly. Thank you so much for joining us. So wonderful to have you join us on Channel Africa. I want to start with, before we talk about how well you're doing and you telling us, a bit more about the inspiration from the 80s era, talk to us about your name, Save Hope. And I think also we're fascinated by the X instead of the O in your name, Save Hope.
Yes, ma'am. So I came about the name. I used to go by Hope. So my name is actually Tebogo. So Hope is just a direct translation in English. And in 2017, when I lost my mom, I wanted to quit because I came up with the name with her. I wanted to quit. It was like my friend was like, when I called him, I was like, hey, I want to quit. And he was like, what are you doing, bro? Save Hope. I was like, okay, Save Hope is going to be my name, but I'll just put the X just to confuse people and just create a conversation revolving my name. And, it's a great Kickstarter. Here we are on Channel Africa.
I am sure she's looking down with a massive smile on her face because she got to hear this name before anyone else. Save Hope, let's talk about this 80s fascination for you. When were you born?
I was born in 2004.
And I knew it. I said it. He can't have been born in the 80s. But what inspired the 80s? Could it be your mom? Tell us the story. What inspired the 80s sound?
I grew up around like some heavy soulful music, so in hip hop you sample, but my uncles and my mom, they were like heavy into just soul blues. So I just carried on. I just carried on in my identity, and I just keep proceeding with that.
I think honestly what you're doing is it's not only clearly working, it really just speaks volumes in terms of your creativity. Over 3 million Spotify streams alone, just Spotify. Okay, we're looking at millions and millions of streams. And also you've been lauded as one to watch by the likes of Erykah Badu, who was big, in the 1990s, Kulichana, who's a big superstar in South Africa. So what do you think your winning formula is?
Just staying grounded, being humble, just always remembering where I come from, because I'm from Lesotho, and that's a landlocked country. Not a lot happens there. Right. I'm very humble. These are legends my mom and my uncles will listen to around the house. So it's an honor. I feel like it's a gift from God, a gift from her. I'm very honored.
And it's not even a controversial question, but the accent, Tsepo, Save Hope, the accent. Tell us about it. Were you in America at some point? It sounds very American influenced. And what role did they play in shaping your musical career?
I grew up in a small town or city called Maseru, but I grew up in the central part of it. And growing up, I was around like the quite Americans, so I used to play soccer prior to that. So we had a soccer club called Victory, and I was around those kids for like a whole year, and I was just a sponge. I was around 9, So I've always been a sponge as a kid, and that's how it came about in a nutshell.
Oh, love that. It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We are still in conversation with Save Hope to tell us about his latest song, 80s Baby. He's told us the inspiration, and we're going to find out a bit more about him and his musical career right after this.
This August, we celebrate the strength, brilliance, and unstoppable spirit of African women.
It was the women themselves who strove for and got the changes by lobbying, going through NGOs, and by networking.
That's you, ladies. From the boardroom to the classroom, from the marketplace to the microphone, women are leading, innovating, and transforming our continent every day.
Oh, here's to knowing that as a woman, your voice can change the world.
Your voice matters. Your story inspires. Your presence is powerful. This Women's Month, we honor you. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We're having a good time here in studio. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. We are currently in conversation with a rising star from Lesotho, currently based in South Africa. His name is Save Hope. And to tell us all about his latest single, it's called 80s Baby. And this one, it features Baby Diaz. I hope I'm saying it properly. Save Hope. Is it Baby Diaz?
No, it's Baby Days.
Baby Days. Hey.
Baby Days. I love that. I love it. I love it.
Tell us how this collaboration came together, and most importantly, what are you trying to say through the song? Yes, you were reminiscing on, a period where nostalgia for the family, but for the younger generation listening to this song, what are you trying to say to them?
When I start the song off, let me start by saying that I went to Cape Town through my friend Matthew. Shout out to Matthew. And he let me crash there for a couple of days. And the first day I got out there, he invited Days over, and me and him, we started talking. He liked my vibe, he liked my music, and the next day, I was making the beat. I make my own beat, so I was making a beat.
Yeah.
I recorded on it, and then later on, he came through. He heard it. He was like, "Listen, brother, I gotta make this song, or I have to be on this song, and this song might just change my trajectory as like a lyrical rapper." And that's how the song came about and how I encountered him.
And the message that you're trying to share with the youngsters.
Right. So I start the song off by saying I've been at it since I was a kid. I always knew I'd never quit. And I just started talking about fashion and just flamboyance and just being confident in oneself. So it's quite the confidence record, confidence booster. Go get out there, go get yours. Don't conform.
Love that.
Don't conform. I like that. Okay, let's talk about just staying within the era of the 80s, which is a grand inspiration of yours. If there were one artist, or maybe two, or maybe three artists from that particular era, whether they are still alive or whether they've transitioned, which artist would you want to collaborate with in a piece of music from that era?
Wow, that's a difficult question. I didn't expect that one, but I'll be ready. So I like a lot of rock music. Well, not like religiously, but I would say a few 80s babies that I would work with. People who are born in the 80s, of course, right? I'd say, just to be cliche a little bit, Kendrick Lamar. And then I can't think.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar is a great place to start. I think he would love what you're about.
Yeah, because I really did. He was my uncle would play his music early, like very early in my age, and he's just one of them ones. So I would work with him, and obviously the greats. And yeah, I only got one for now. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you were going to throw in some Bryan Adams there, because he was also quite big in the 80s. He wasn't born in the 80s, but he was a big star, a big name, a bit of soft rock there. Not your kind of vibe?
Maybe like Tevin Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can we? That one.
Okay, but I mean, he's 90s, but I hear where you're going.
I love that.
I hear where you're going.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about social media, because we are in a digital age where when you're an artist now, it's almost as if you don't find yourself on social media promoting yourself, getting your name out there, your music out there, we can see a direct correlation sometimes on the charts. Talk to us about how your presence on social media. Are you active there? Is this a platform that you're also using to get your music out there to everyone?
Yeah, I am very much. And I encourage other artists to do the same, especially when it comes to clipping, taking a part of maybe your music videos and just chopping it and creating engaging captions to basically send your message out there. People are just, we're good readers, we're not always going to be listening to music. So yeah, I'm very on social media for sure. That's how I was able to reach the greats that I reached. Lesotho is a small country, 2 million people, so it's such an honor. I'm so humbled.
Okay. You know what I'm interested in, Save Hope, is do you ever feel pressured to incorporate, any kind of Sesotho in the work that you do, whether it's in the form of language, whether it's in your music videos? I don't know, maybe somebody or just, I don't know, anything that sort of represents Basotho and where you are from. Do you ever feel pressured to incorporate those elements into your music?
No, I don't, because that's where I come from, and I feel like in the beginning stages of my career, especially audio visually, I feel like I did my best. I have a song called "There's Blind Spots," which was encountered by Erykah Badu, and when it comes to like sonically and verbally, yeah, I mean, I don't feel the pressure because I do speak, but I only speak, behind closed doors, because like Sesotho for me is such a sacred language, and when I'm at work, we're at work right now, and I only speak Sesotho out of respect of like my grandma, for instance. I can chat with my grandma, and I have my own identity at the end of the day, and like I said, I don't conform at all. So there's no pressures. I've tried experimenting with Sesotho music. I have like maybe like 3 songs where I tried. Some people liked it, and people are maybe it might be like a breakthrough for me. You never know, but no pressure at all.
All right, not conforming. I'm going to throw some quick fire questions in your direction. Save Hope, are you ready?
Of course.
Perform to a massive festival crowd or an intimate secret gig?
Intimate secret gig.
Only release singles forever or only release full albums?
That was a good one. Albums.
All right. Travel back to the 1980s for a week or jump 20 years into the future?
Travel back in the 1980s for a week.
And finally, the last question. Write a hit in one night or perfect a song over a whole year?
Perfect a song over a whole year.
Young.
Oh no, sorry, the first one, because I'm very fast.
You want it to be a hit.
I do that. I really do this. I'm not gonna lie. I really do this. I that's how I work. I don't sit on my music. When I make a song, I make sure it's done and we ship it out and it's a product. So the first one, make a hit in one night, because I feel like I can.
All right. Love that. Save Hope, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. All the best with your musical career, and thank you for giving us this song called 80s Baby. People can check it out on all streaming platforms, and they can also follow him on social media. Save Hope, it's HXPE. Rising star, born in Lesotho, based in South Africa. A name to look out for. It is 30 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Who's standing by? Musibudi Makura is standing by with sports.
Sports. on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you so much, Tebogo. Indeed, I am standing by with the latest sports news this hour. And we'll start with football news. So South African coach Mmatsheko and his Chargers are bracing for a very tough match when they face off with Niger. This in a must-win African Nations Championship CHAN group clash encounter at the Mandela National Stadium in Kampala, Uganda tonight. Now, the South Africans are third on the Group C standings with 4 points from 2 matches and are 2 points behind leaders Uganda, who have already played 3 games. Coach Mmatseko's Chargers will be seeking maximum points if they are to ensure that they remain in control of their destiny as the group stages winds down.
I think what we have seen with Niger, they have played 2 different systems where they used 5 at the back, they used 4 at the back, they used 3 at the top, they used 2 at the top. So I think that can always be referred to as tactical flexibility that they have in their games. And with all of that, the approach has been different. The role of each individual player within the system has always been different. So I think it is for us coming into this match to respect and recognize their strengths.
So Mmatsheko says the last 2 matches in Group C are a must-win if they are to reach the next round. Bafana play Niger tonight at 7 p.m. Central African Time in their 3rd match of this group. Then they face off with the host nation Uganda at the same venue on Monday. But 6 points from these 2 games will see them topping the group and then qualifying for the quarterfinals.
We are looking into our strengths and also the past 2 matches we played. We played different players. We played different formations in relation to the game itself, what time of the game, what the score line, what do you want to achieve, what time of the game. So I think going into Niger tomorrow, we'll also be looking at those aspects of the game to see what time of the game they normally concede goals, what time of the game they normally put a threat on their opponents.
Onto this story now. The South African Football Association President Dr. Danny Jordan and his co-accused will be back in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court in Johannesburg today. Jordan, as well as SAFA CFO Lekhuleni, face charges of fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud. It is alleged that Jordan used the Federation's resources for personal gain, such as hiring a private security company for his protection. It is also alleged that Jordan appointed the public relations company following a charge of rape leveled against him. So the director of that company, Trevor Neethling, also faces 2 counts of fraud. The trio are out on bail for about $1,000, having pleaded guilty, to the charges that have been leveled against them. On to rugby news now. Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus has been forced to make a late change to his replacement bench for tomorrow's opening rugby championship test match against Australia in Johannesburg tomorrow. So utility front row forward Jan Hendrik Wessels was forced to withdraw after picking up an injury in training this week. He will be replaced by prop Boan Venter. Now Venter, who made his test debut against Georgia just last month, Bongi Mbonambi as well as Asinati Ntlabakanye are the backup front row forwards for the Springboks. Now the encounter will also mark Venter's first ever rugby championship test match and his first against the Wallabies. And finally, McLaren have announced the auction of one of their 2026 Formula One cars before it has been raced yet. Now, the Formula One car, which will be driven by Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris, is one of the trio of future cars offered by McLaren in the 5th of December sale organized by RM Southey Bay ahead of this year's season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix race. Now, the other 2 are the 2026 Arrow McLaren IndyCar to be raced at the Indianapolis 500 next May by Mexican Pato O'Ward, as well as McLaren's inaugural 2027 World Endurance Hypercar that will compete in the 24 hours of Le Mans. It's exactly 14:35 p.m. Central African Time and concludes your sports news this hour. I'm back with the final sports update on the upside in the 3rd and final hour of the show. As always, for any sports stories you'd like to share with us, simply send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Alternatively, give us a call on +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Mosito Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Are you fluent in French, Chinyanja, Portuguese, and Kiswahili? Are you passionate about radio? And are you looking to work in South Africa? Do you have papers that qualify you to work in South Africa? In that case, we might have an opportunity for you to work for Channel Africa. Send us your CV and demo at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Remember, if you don't hear from us within 14 days, it means you have not made it or you have not been selected. Channel Africa, the African Perspective.
36 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time, Nosipo Zuma is standing by with business news.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, the South African Federation of Trade Unions says it supports the insourcing bill to be approved as a piece of legislation. The private members' bill was introduced by the EFF. The main objectives of the envisaged piece of legislation is to compel organs of state to stop outsourcing the work of cleaning, maintenance, security and IT, among other services. SAFTU Secretary General Zwelinzima Mavavi says if passed into law, the bill will signal the end of corruption by both the public and private sectors. He says it will also curb the increasing low wages received by workers.
This may signal an end to lower wages, insecure working conditions, poor working conditions, and a two-tier labor market system that have introduced precariety in the labor market like you have never seen before. This is a step towards ending corruption, both in the public sector and in the private sector. This is the only route towards ending the current inequalities in income.
Chief Commissioner for International Trade Administration, Commission in South Africa, Yabonga Qawe, says the country will release the preliminary findings of its review of steel tariffs next week, moving a step closer to protecting the local industry from increased imports. The review was initiated by the Commission in March following a ministerial directive. South Africa's steel industry faces numerous challenges, including an influx of low-priced imports due to overcapacity, primarily in China. South Africa's Nedbank Group has agreed to sell its 21.2% stake in Pan-African lender EcoBank to the private investment vehicle of financier Ellen Ngotowu for $100 million. Nedbank says it wants to sell the stake, citing regulatory uncertainties, potentially higher capital requirements, and plans to focus on Southern and East Africa. EcoBank's operations in Central and West Africa are exposed to some economies that have been pressured by unfavorable currency swings since Nedbank bought the stake in 2014. The US dollar has slipped back, handing back some of the previous session's strong gains ahead of monthly retail sales data and a meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, earlier today, the dollar index, which tracks the greenback against a basket of 6 other currencies, traded 0.4% lower at 97.750 after sharp gains at 2 prior sessions. Trump and Putin are set to hold talks in Alaska later in the session to try and negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. And finally, Air Canada and its unionized flight attendants remain at odds despite government pleas for both sides to remain to bargaining to avert a strike that would upend travel for tens of thousands of passengers. Chanduko Lekeke has the details.
Canada's largest carrier says it expects to cancel 500 flights by the end of the day, leaving some 100,000 passengers scrambling for alternatives. The carrier's 10,000 flight attendants are gearing up to strike tomorrow over stalled contract talks on union demands for higher wages and compensation for unpaid work.
Your financial indicators: one US dollar in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 532, and Botswana is 13 pula 26. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 412, and in Zambia it's 23 kwacha 10. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 40. Russia is 79 rubles 64. India is 87 rupees 57. China it's 7 yuan 17, and in South Africa $1 is trading at 17 rand 56. $1 is trading at 73 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,341 and platinum at $1,355 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.26 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Mosito Suma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege.
So when you think of African music, you think of kwasa kwasa, high life music from West Africa, Afrobeat from West Africa, of gospel music, or faith music, or spiritual music. But when we think of reggae music, we go to the Caribbean, and if it's Africa, we only think about Lucky Dube. Well, I'm here to introduce you to some reggae music from Africa. Salif Keita with Dakan Faye from Mali, and I must say this one was a real shock for me because I never had imagined Salif Keita on a reggae beat, but listening to him, it just proved to me how versatile he is as an artist, because you'd be expecting him to be on that vibe of West Africa, of ballads, but he really proved that he is very versatile, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Africa in Song with Chanduko Ligege. We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Yeah. PSA. Hip hop in my DNA. And I move stealthy like CIA. I ain't come here to stall, I'm a boss. I don't shop at the mall just like y'all. Nowadays I don't pick up calls, that's his almighty God. Got a little secret, I can tell you something and leave out important details. Keep it to myself still, it's just how I be. Go from A to letter Z, watch them sleep. Honestly, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I can see all these other rappers really make believe. I repeat, I don't kill beats like I'm from the streets. Not a beast, but the way I go hard, you might think it's me. PSA. Hip hop in my DNA. We ain't come here to play. I came here to stay. We ain't come here to play. Came from RSA just to eat them up like Chick-fil-A. Show you how the real thing go. Rap on the beat like an animal. Alligator man, I'ma cut it on my hand. I'ma tell you my lane, that's LSO. Came from the dust, don't hold a grudge, but we don't forget what you say to us. Trust, this was never luck. Tell them PSA. Hip hop in my DNA. And I move stealthy like CIA. I ain't come here to stall, I'm a boss. I don't shop at the mall just like y'all. Nowadays I don't pick up calls, that's his almighty God.
We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the upside.
Revolutionaries die and the children forget. revolutionaries die, and the children forget. Children forget. The ghetto is our first love, and our dreams are drenched in gold. We don't even cry. We don't even cry. We don't even cry about it no more. We don't even cry. Our beautiful ones are really dead.
A call to remember your roots, to remember where you come from, who is your ancestry, or what is your ancestry all about. Beautiful piece of music taken off of Thandiswa Mazwai's debut album that she released over 20 years ago. Last year, she was celebrating the 20th anniversary of the release of Zabalaza, the album. This song is titled Nizalwa Ngobani. Direct translation would be who birthed you?
Who birthed you?
Who birthed you? Where do you come from? If we're to unpack that title. So beautiful, profound piece of music coming through. Thanks for joining us. The Upside, 10 minutes to go till we reach 3 p.m.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Bana Boy huyu anajulikana kama Damini Ebunoluwa Ogolo, maarufu kama Bana Boy. Alizaliwa Julai 2 mwaka 1991. Ni mwimbaji na mwandishi wa nyimbo kutoka nchini Nigeria. Alipata umaarufu mnamo mwaka 2012 baada ya kutoa wimbo wake wa kwanza kabisa ambao ulijulikana kwa jina la Like to Party kutoka ndani ya studio Live 2013. Mnamo mwaka wa 2017 Bana Boy alisaini na bendi Habit Atlantic Records huko Marekani na Warner Music Group. Albamu yake ya tatu ya studio ya nje 2018 iliweka alama ya kwanza ya lebo yake. Mnamo mwaka 2019 alishinda sheria ya kimataifa ya bora kabisa kwenye tuzo za BET za 2019. Alitangazwa pia kama msanii wa Apple Music's Up Next.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The SABC is pleased to announce the launch of the new self-registration platform. Vendors wishing to do business with the SABC can self-register on our internally developed platform. Vendors are able to access this platform on our website. That's www.sabc.co.za/SABC under e-tenders or self-register at etender.sabc.co.za and follow the prompts. Visit SABC social media pages for more details.
Mmatsheko Mosito and Tebogo Lekhuleni on the Upside.
All right, it's 8 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the Friday edition of The Upside. Happy Friday to you on Channel Africa, The African Perspective, with me, Tebogo Lekhuleni, and Mmatsheko Mosito. Quick one. Social media. As I said earlier, I was, Spotifying, listening to some music, and on the different charts, I realized that the ones that are sitting at the top, I was looking at the South African one specifically, these are songs that are also big on social media, on TikTok. I wonder then what influence having your song being pushed and going viral on social media, if it has a direct impact on the charts that we see officially on the Spotify, Apple Tunes, or whatever the case may be. How important is it then for artists to have a presence on social media? Because it's no longer organic listenership now where, we stumbled upon Mmatsheko's new song and I told my friend. No, we hear it first on social media.
Yes.
So how important is it that artists have a presence on social media, not just shy away from it thinking, no, it's for other people, it's not for me?
Look, branding experts have said it. If you're not on social media, you don't exist. And also, when you look at social media, it's not social media anymore, actually. That died in 2023. It's now engagement media. So what happens, I'll use Instagram as an example, and TikTok to a large extent. When you go, if you just open your profile now as you and I speak, and you scroll through your timeline, I don't see any of the people I follow. I see the stuff I'm interested in. From people I don't follow, whatever it is that I'm interested in. You could be interested in finance. People that are talking about money are going to pop up, ads about money and that sort of thing. So it is engagement media. So you need to be engaging. Okay. So if you've got music that sings about African people and beautiful African women and the beauty of African rivers and seas and mountains and the sky, then you need to engage an audience that's interested in that subject matter so that they can be pulled to kind of look at what else you're doing. It's no longer just about like the pretty pictures like what we used to do back then. It's no longer just about, your little audience in South Africa or wherever you're from. It's engagement media. Your TikTok video or your Instagram reel can make it all the way to Scandinavia. If it is engaging enough. So it's engagement media, and if you're an artist or an entrepreneur or anybody who's trying to do anything, then that's what you need to do. I'm talking like this is what I'm doing. I'm not there yet, but I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
You'll get there. We'll give you a couple of weeks. Here's another thing though.
Yeah.
Are we then still... Could we say we are proper music connoisseurs and we are proper fans of these artists? Because the reason I asked this is when I was listening to the top songs that are on the charts right now, I only know snippets of the songs that live on TikTok. The rest of the song, I'm like, I know the I know the hook.
Yeah.
I know that part. And what does this then do when these artists go and perform for large audiences where we've only seen you on TikTok viral, but we didn't really listen to the entire song? Does this then take away our fanfare for the music because we were just hooked on the hook and we didn't actually stay tuned for the rest and the entire song, even the album?
That is a problem. That is a problem, because then how do you then have the confidence to release an entire body of work? And I think that's why, besides the fact that it is really costly to record an entire album, it's also, I think, just in terms of where the world is moving. We're moving more and more away from genres and more into how the music makes us feel. We're moving into spaces where people have short concentration spans. We don't have time to listen to a 7-minute song. We're not meditating.
Yep.
Hook us in 2.2 minutes or get out of here.
All right. Does TikTok or social media virality influence charts? Let us know on our WhatsApp line, +27 63 406 9126.
Upside, taking the African perspective.
China music press stagger. African Dance is the name of the song. It's now 3 p.m. Central African Time. Let's get the latest news now with Jwalani Tulongwepe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Top stories. A Sawa call for South Africans to join the national dialogue process on new footage of far-right Israeli minister taunting the most prominent Palestinian prisoner. Good afternoon. President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on all South Africans to join the national dialogue process that is being launched at UNISA in Pretoria over the next 2 days. Ramaphosa was speaking to over 1,200 delegates from various sectors and communities across the country gathered at UNISA's main campus in Pretoria. His comments follow the non-participation of the Democratic Alliance Party as the withdrawal of several other legacy foundations from the preparation process, and most notably the absence of former President Thabo Mbeki, seen as the originator of the National Dialogue. The President says the National Dialogue is a call to build a society which has a place for all.
The National Dialogue is a call to action. It is a call to all South Africans to seize this moment for change and progress. And this we cannot do when we are sitting on the sidelines. This we cannot do when we do not want to be part of this conversation.
Meanwhile, protesters have gathered outside the University of South Africa's main campus in Pretoria, where that first sitting of the convention is currently underway. The presidency has described the National Convention as a call to action for citizens to lead an inclusive dialogue on the challenges that the country is facing. However, some groups feel they're being deliberately excluded from the process. Peter Monete from the Gauteng Housing Crisis Committee says they weren't aware of the registration process.
We came here to picket outside so that our grievances can be heard. First of all, there is an exclusion here. We are excluded from this national dialogue, from the setup. We think that the dialogue should represent the people from the ground. We can't be told that, no, everyone was supposed to register. You register for what? That you don't understand. Because our suspicion is that already ANC or the officials, they have already set up the standard that they want the outcomes of the dialogue.
The Zambian government and the family of former President Edgar Lungu are reportedly locked in mediation talks. The size application for leave to appeal in the dispute involving the two parties has been adjourned to Monday. Last week, the court ruled in favour of the government that the president's remains should be repatriated for burial in Zambia. Lungu died in South Africa in June while receiving medical attention. Channel Africa's Michael Mbebe was on court.
After an hour of delay before the commencement of the proceedings due to ongoing consultations between, the two parties outside court, what we all expected never happened when both counsels representing both applicants came to a conclusion that they are in the middle of mediation. So what we also witnessed is that the Lungu family was not there this morning, and on their side they were being represented by our own advocate Nguka Itobi SC, and the matter indeed has been adjourned until this Monday for more finality to this matter.
Gambian police have charged 3 women over the death of a 1-month-old baby girl who had undergone female genital mutilation in a case that has sparked outcry across the country. The 3 were charged under the Women's Amendment Act 2015, a landmark law criminalizing female genital mutilation. One of the women faces life imprisonment and has been remanded in custody, while the 2 others were charged as accomplices and granted bail. New footage shared on social media shows the far-right Israeli minister Itamar Ben-Gvir taunting the most prominent Palestinian prisoner Marwan Barghouti during a visit to his jail cell. The BBC's Yolandi Nell has the details.
The 13-second long video clip is the first time that Marwan Barghouti has been seen publicly in years. He appears aged and gaunt. Itamar Ben-Gvir, who's Israel's national security minister, tells him, "Whoever messes with the people of Israel, we will obliterate them." Marwan Barghouti, who's 66, was jailed more than 20 years ago, convicted of planning attacks that led to 5 civilians being killed. Opinion polls have consistently indicated that he remains the most popular Palestinian leader.
Recapping the top story this hour, President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on South Africans to join the national dialogue process that is being launched at UNISA in Pretoria over the next 2 days. Ramaphosa was speaking to over 1,200 delegates from various sectors and communities across the country gathered at UNISA's main campus in Pretoria. For any news stories you would like to share with us, please do send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Cholani Tulo Mwebe.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 6 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the final hour of The Upside on Channel Africa, the African Perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. Thank you so much for choosing us this afternoon. Remember to stream us on our social media platforms, or if you're already streaming us, tell your friends and their friends and the family to stream us on social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. If you have DSTV's Channel 802, OpenView Channel 628, and as always, you can download the SABC Plus app or go to www.channelafrica.co.za. Exciting conversation that we are about to have with a multi-award winning artist.
I'm very excited for this one. I had a conversation, was it about a month ago, with a friend of mine who is a music promoter.
Okay.
And he told me about this wonderful woman from Zimbabwe, and she sings Afro jazz, Afro soul. I was like, tell me more. He's like, oh, if I were to compare her, she's like the Thandiswa Mazwai of Zimbabwe. I was like, okay, now you have my attention. So we have a superstar. We're going to be in the presence of a superstar by the name of Feli Nandi. And as Tebogo has said, award-winning Afro jazz, Afro soul singer, a songwriter. She's made waves in her country of origin in Zimbabwe, and she has landed in South Africa. Okay, why? Because she's got a wonderful performance that she's going to be dishing out for those that are privileged enough to be in the front row of that situation. That is on the 16th, which is tomorrow, basically. Okay, she's landed in time for her performance tomorrow at in Johannesburg in South Africa. So we're very excited to meet her and to find out more about the journey, the music. You know, what does she think the future of Afro jazz is like, and how is she contributing to that? You know, there were artists before her, artists like Dorothy Masuku, who was also from Zimbabwe, and she was very much part of the struggle in South Africa, the struggle against apartheid, alongside Abigail Kubega. Think of other artists like Togo Mqina, you know, Thandi Klassen, that group of artists, of feminine artists, that I'm pretty certain she's borrowed from. So I'm very excited for this conversation.
A Night with Feli Nandi coming to South Africa. It's the 6th edition. We'll find out more right after this.
The Midnight Snack, 12 to 3 a.m.
Young couples or young people that are getting married, we often hear of divorces, that they're getting divorced, and it's quite worrying because when we attend these weddings, we want to see these people flourish and celebrate 30-year anniversaries. What do you think is the main challenge that is facing newlyweds?
We say that tell me how you were raised and I'll tell you how you love. So when we see people getting married, that's not where the relationship actually starts. The relationship starts with how you were raised, what you were familiar with, because we are attracted to what we are familiar with. If you don't have a background where love was prominent, where love was authentic, it's going to be very difficult for you to manufacture that in later life. So our upbringing has something to do with it.
The Midnight Snack, every Monday, 12 to 3 a.m. with Chanduko Ligege.
Je, una jambo lolote akilini mwako? Je, una shauku kuhusu maswala muhimu? Na je, una maoni ambayo unataka yasikike? Kweli, hili jukwaa ni la kwako. Piga simu au tuandikie kwenda WhatsApp namba alama ya kujumulisha 2760552594 na tutakupigia simu.
Mtangazaji wa habari zetu za Afrika Kusini mjini Johannesburg.
Hivyo unaweza kuwa mshirika kwenye matangazo yetu. Sio mazungumzo tu, ni fursa yako ya kuchangia maoni yako na kushirikiana na jumuiya ya wasikilizaji wanaotamani mtazamo wako. Tufuate kwenye mitandao ya kijamii. Tembelea tovuti yetu www.channelafrica.co.za na uwe tayari kushiriki na kuchangia maoni yako kwenye Channel Africa. Channel Africa, mtazamo wa Kiafrika.
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Apple pie, zonde funga tirites, tinujira ndiro imwe, tiriro nuwe, kutikwete iwe, mafungiro atosiana iwe, marotero atosiana iwe, kakuyenda kwatosiana iwe, kanendanga ndakoniwa, makadiko kundiotao, kanendanga ndakoshiwa, makadiko kundiotao, makatira mafumo wakauna nizanzi mubae, hanzi mubae, shikanzi mubae, makatira mafumo wakauna nizanzi mubae, shikanzi mubae, shikanzi mubae. Nai to say
So this is us bringing you some wonderful exclusives on Channel Africa, The Upside with Tebogo and Mmatsheko until 4 p.m. And listen, our Friday just got elevated with the music by Felinandi. She has landed in South Africa, okay, and she is coming through as an award-winning Afro jazz and Afro soul singer, and this is one of her most beautiful pieces of music, Mumbai, featuring The Unveiled. I hear big inspirations from artists like Angelique Kidjo, because she likes this as well. You know, music of the mountains and the hills, but also incorporating choral elements. Like, this is the standard, okay, is what I'm trying to say. This is the standard that we're talking about when we're talking about feminines in the space of music. And guess what? She's here.
She joins us in studio. Imagine that. From Harare to the world, she's the voice that warms you, that wraps you up in warmth, strength, and pride. Her music is a celebration of African heritage, blending Afro jazz, like Mmatsheko had said earlier, Afro soul and traditional Zimbabwean sounds into something timeless. She's graced stages from Zimfest UK to Germany, Tanzania, and Namibia, and now Johannesburg gets a turn. Tomorrow night, at the iconic Hard Rock Cafe in Sandton, will host the 6th edition of her acclaimed showcase, A Night with Felinandi. With a string of awards, sold-out shows, and a growing global fan base, she's more than an artist. She's a storyteller of love, resilience, and culture. And today, she joins us in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Felinandi! Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely having you here.
In case you're looking for a drummer girl, I'm available.
Girl. Okay, you're welcome.
Let's talk about this A Night with Felinandi. It's at its 6th edition now.
6th edition, yes.
What was the inspiration?
My manager, but okay.
Thank you for the honesty.
Yeah, she came up with that. We were doing sold out shows in Harare.
Yeah,
and we kind of have a sophisticated crowd. You know, your type of niche-ish
yes,
crowd.
I love that. Yes,
so
upper echelon.
Yeah, we wanted to identify it, and we wanted to just make it special. So it's very special. They dress up in Afrocentric because I'm a designer. I go by statement was kind of in Morocco. Like Morocco is
dresses.
Funny big dresses. That's what I'm known for.
Okay.
So they dress up and they come to the show. So we started on volume 1 and we are on volume 6 in Johannesburg. Yeah.
Look at that. That's exciting.
That's a beautiful story.
I love
it.
That.
Is.
I love that. Wait. So are you trying to go more intimate with these sort of A Night with Felinandi? It's not a big going to a FNB stadium. You want to keep it intimate.
Well, no. The dream is to grow.
Okay.
We've been growing. The first night with the numbers have been going up each edition. So that was the dream is to, of course, the stadium. What are you talking about? Of course, the dream is to grow. So every other, because we do it every 3 months. So after every 3 months, we've got new faces. Like we've got faces from volume 1, but every edition we have new faces. Like I love it. So it has always been sold out.
The reason why I was asking, not to say that hey we're stagnating your growth, but I was really asking because there are some artists who say I would prefer to perform to a very small intimate audience because they get to connect with me, and so I want to keep it this way the whole time.
I love it that way, but we have a way of connecting with our supporters all the time. We love to grow. We really
Beautiful. I love the sound.
Thank you.
And I kind of gave my, what my listening ear is absorbing as I listen to the music. You know, it just sounds like, the kind of music that sounds like it was recorded outside.
That's
like you were at the river when you do it, or you brought the river and the mountain and all of that into the studio. So tell us what informs, that what has shaped your sound.
Aire, you know what that means? Like, you gotta feel the music. It has to get in your soul. I don't want you to understand the words, but I want you to feel. So I've always wanted to sing music that either makes you cry or with tears of joy or pain. I've always wanted to talk to the inner person.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. It is now 19 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. We are hanging out with the multi-award winning Feli Nandi to tell us all about a night with Feli Nandi, which will be taking place tomorrow at the Hard Rock Cafe at its 6th edition. Don't go anywhere. We've got more questions for her, and if you'd like to throw those questions in her direction, please send us a WhatsApp +27 63 9126, or alternatively engage with us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Don't go anywhere.
She builds, she leads, she rises. This August, join Channel Africa in celebrating the women who shape our communities, shift narratives, and carve out a future on their own terms.
These women together ought to be able to turn it right again.
From Cape Town to Kigali, Lagos to Lusaka, African women are rewriting the script. Here's to courage, creativity, and unstoppable progress. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. Only on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Welcome back. Still in conversation, exclusively so, might I add, in studio with Feli Nandi. She is joining us. And she flew all the way from Zimbabwe, okay, to be with us. No, I'm just kidding. She flew for her wonderful one night only that's going to be happening at Hard Rock Cafe in Sandton City in Johannesburg. So rise, okay, 16th of August, which is literally tomorrow. So if you're looking for something beautiful to do, I know it's pay weekend for a lot of people in South Africa. So listen, take advantage. It's also Women's Month. So there really are many kind of celebratory elements that come into this. So we're chatting to her about just her journey in music, and then of course as we wrap up the conversation, we're going to talk about what to expect or what she's planning on bringing on the Hard Rock Cafe stage tomorrow. We were talking off the record, but I want to bring it on the record.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in your formula, the sold out shows in Harare. You mentioned several venues where you've sold out in Harare.
Yeah.
What do you think the formula is? You know, you mentioned the niche audience, but what do you think your particular, pull factor is for the audience?
It's been a journey. It's been a journey. I think most of our supporters, we've grown together.
Yeah.
We've grown together. These are people who knew us when we started this.
Yeah.
And like I said, these shows are really it's like an emotional journey. When you come to a show, you get to experience. I've seen people cry. I've seen people. It's just so beautiful. So I think they just know they're coming to. You get to confront your most untold emotions,
and it's safe to do so.
It's a safe space, definitely
judgment free.
And I have a few weddings that have inspired in those shows, I think.
Oh, come on now.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's a love making.
Yeah.
Oh no, that didn't sound right. But it's let me move past that very quickly. Has music always been the dream for you, Phil?
Yeah. Oh yeah. As my mama said, I started singing when I was 3. So I think it has.
3?
But I don't remember.
Wow. Okay.
That's what she said. Yeah, that's what she said. I've sang all my life, but professionally I started 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people, you either go and study music, right? And you study, and that was not the case for you.
Very unqualified.
Doesn't sound like it.
Very unqualified. It has always been storytelling through song. Yeah.
And the support from family during that time when you said, hey, you know what?
Oh no, my brother wanted to kill me all the time. He didn't want to hear anything
With
about
all that
music.
talent? Come on, come on.
Yeah. Well, but now he's my best friend, and he's always on the front row. And I'm just like, dude, that if I could turn back the hands of time, what did
I
he
was
do?
right from the start.
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's also just so stunning that you get glimpses of the impact of the music.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
that's how you know you're in the right place, and you're being of service. You know, where you come from is incredibly rich when it comes to music, man.
Oh yeah. Oh,
especially. I mean, can we just talk about the women? Stella Shiweshe.
Oh yeah. Chiwoniso
Maraire, you know,
yeah.
and several others that we can mention.
Mhm.
You are now there as well, and I hear the inspiration from those women in the music and the Mbira Zavadzimu inspiration in there as well. So, talk to me about how women, you know, I mean, I want to take it from Stella Chiweshe's generation to Chiwoniso, and then you in this time, you know, passing on that baton of music and moving ancestrally from generation to generation. You know, what are your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that and the movement of Zimbabwean rhythms in that space?
I actually think especially Mbuya Stella and Chiwoniso really paved way for us, because we are people are embracing, especially the Zimbabwean sound more now than then. Than with them. They really did well, but the audience and the support that we're getting now is more loud than before. So I really think they really paved the way for us, and it's just so beautiful to see that we've got so many people embracing Zimbabwean roots through music.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
How amazing is it that we can now use social media to get our music to the whole world, not just in Zimbabwe or South Africa?
It's amazing.
And how are you leveraging off those platforms?
Ooh, I'm always on TikTok.
TikTok.
I don't think easy is the word. Easy is not the word, but I think we are very fortunate. This generation, we're very fortunate to have social media. It's not always fun, but we're very fortunate. Even when you release a song, it's different from back then where you had to wait, and now you can just go take a snippet and put it on TikTok, and before you know it, it's everywhere, and you're touching all parts of the world. So we love this era.
That is beautiful. In studio with the one and only Feli Nandi, okay? Award-winning Afro jazz, Afro soul singer of Zimbabwean descent. She is but moving through the entire world through this music and really just promoting the sound of where she's from. I love that. African pride. You are... You know, I was talking to a fashion designer yesterday, and it's so wonderful to find out that you are in fashion as well. And I said to him, I hold a very strong opinion that artists are born and not made. It's either you're an artist or you're not.
You think?
Okay. Yes, I strongly believe that. I think you really are called to be an artist, because it comes with like so much. There's a huge responsibility with that. So, I mean, with that said, how do you merge the artistic expressions, you know, when fashion meets your music?
Well, I'm actually chef as well.
And
oh, come on,
extraordinaire.
But okay. So we've got 3 lines happening in our journey. As Feli Nandi, as an organization, we own an African clothing line. We are a musician. I'm a musician, and I own a traditional restaurant. So they all merge, because the people that come to our shows, if I have a show today, almost half of the crowd is coming to eat Sadza Fest before they come to my show, and they're going to buy dresses that they're going to wear to the show. So it's like going to one thing.
I love that.
They all
love
connect.
that strategy.
So yeah. We are very blessed.
So at some point you're going to get into logistics as well, to transport,
No.
transport people around, make sure they get to your restaurant, to your events, everything.
I've always loved to do things I understand. So I understand how to cook sadza, and I understand how to make dresses, and I sing. I think that's okay. That's enough.
That is true divinity, actually. Because it's never in each soul separately. You know, I mean, the gifts are talking to one another, and they're talking to you, and now they're talking to the people. You know, I want to go back to the point around how the music makes people feel.
Yeah.
Because in my thoughts earlier in the show, when Tebogo and I were having a conversation around music and social media, I started to think about us moving more and more away from genres and more towards how the music makes us feel. You know, I think that is such a huge responsibility for artists. So, yeah, I mean, how do you think about the music and how it inspires other people and how it inspires them to find their own gifts through what you are doing?
Whenever anyone asks me where do you get your inspiration, I always say I don't know how to write fiction. Like you can't call me here and ask me to sing about this bottle. I'll do a terrible job. But when I know a story, if you listen to most of our music, it's probably my life story. It's or my friend or my relative. I know a story. So I've always wanted to sing music that that has a story behind. Yeah. So I'm a fan of. I don't really regard genres. I like feeling the music. So if you ask me who's your favorite artist, I probably don't have, but I've got favorite musicians. I've got so many because I just want to listen to a sound and feel it, and then I want to know what the song means.
The music that has shaken us to our core, that is the music we remember. That's the music that stays with us.
Timeless.
Timeless music. It is 30 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. We are hanging out with the multi-award winning Feli Nandi to tell us a bit more about a night with Feli Nandi, which will be taking place tomorrow at the Hard Rock Cafe in South Africa. We'll continue the conversation after we get the latest in sports with Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you so much, Tebogo. For the final time this afternoon on The Upside, we'll start your sports bulletin with this story. So South Africa coach Mmatsheko and his Chargers are bracing for a very tough match when they face off with Niger. This in a must-win African Nations Championship Chan Group C clash to be played at the Mandela National Stadium in Kampala, Uganda tonight. So the South Africans are third in Group C with about 4 points from 2 matches and are 2 points behind the leaders, Uganda, who've already played 3 matches. Coach Mmatseko's Chargers will be seeking maximum points if they are to ensure that they remain in pole position and in control of their destiny as the group stages near a conclusion.
I think what we have seen with Niger, they have played 2 different systems where they used 5 at the back, they used 4 at the back, they used 3 at the top, they used 2 at the top. So I think that can always be referred to as tactical flexibility that they have in their games. And with all of that, the approach has been different. The role of each individual player within the system has always been different. So I think it is for us coming into this match to respect and recognize their strengths.
And so Mmatsheko says in their last 2 matches of Group C, they must win those encounters if they are to reach the next round of this year's tournament. Bafana obviously play Niger tonight at 7 p.m. Central African time. Then they face off with Uganda in their final group match on Monday. But 6 points from these 2 games will see them topping the group.
We are looking into our strengths and also the past 2 matches we played. We played different players, we played different formations in relation to the game itself, what time of the game, what the score line, what do you want to achieve, what time of the game. So I think going into Niger tomorrow, we'll also be looking at those aspects of the game to see what time of the game they normally concede goals, what time of the game they normally put a threat on their opponents.
Right, so just a reminder, kickoff is at 7 p.m. Central African time. Bafana looking for their second win in the group stages of this year's tournament. Onto this now, nominated Athletics South Africa high performance manager Ezekiel Sebeng says his nomination for the Sports Administrator of the Year at the SA Sports Awards is indeed an honour and a testament of the achievements of South African athletes. So the 1996 Olympic 800-metre silver medalist will contend of the title alongside Tennis South Africa President Gavin Crooks, as well as Cricket South Africa's Poletsi Moseki for that Administrator of the Year. So while also acknowledging Athletics South Africa's recent negative publicity as well as criticism, Sebeng believes the athletes' consistent success speak volumes.
It's a big honor big honor. You know, I grew up there in an environment where whatever I do, you must be recognized. I mean, as an athlete, you win medals, then you are recognized. I came into athletics since 2010, and I moved and I find myself in this space where I feel how we, and our artist has been doing very well.
Now, Sebeng also praised his colleagues, the coaches, as well as the SA office staff members for their vital role in managing logistics, also including ensuring athletes travel in and out of the country regularly without any disruptions.
You have people that are behind you, you have coaches, you have parents, the office, my colleagues that are working under my department. This is the team that has been working to making sure that visas are obtained, programs run around to training camps, flights, all those things. When the team arrives at that site, to make sure that actually got accommodation.
And finally, in case you missed it, Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus has been forced to make a late change to his replacement bench for Saturday's opening rugby championship test match against Australia in Johannesburg. So that match being played at the Ellis Park Stadium. Utility front row forward Jan Hendrik Wessels was forced to withdraw after picking up an injury at a training session on Wednesday. He will be replaced by prop Juan Venter. Now, Venter, who made his test debut against Georgia just last month, Bongim Bonambi as well as Asinati Ntlabakanye are the backup front row forwards for the Springboks for tomorrow's encounter. The encounter will also mark Venter's first rugby championship test match and also his first against the Wallabies of Australia. The time has just gone 15:36 p.m. Central African time, and concludes your sports news this afternoon on the Upside. A final sports update comes up in the next hour. As always, for any sports stories you'd like to share with us, simply send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or give us a call. The newsroom line is +27 11714 4459. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC.
37 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the final business news this afternoon on the Upside with Nosipo Zuma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon. In your business news this hour, the South African Federation of Trade Unions says it supports the insourcing bill to be approved as a piece of legislation. The private members' bill was introduced by the EFF. The main objectives of the envisaged piece of legislation is to compel organs of state to stop outsourcing the work of cleaning, maintenance, security and IT, among other services. SAFTU Secretary General Zolinzi Mavavi says if passed into law, the bill will signal the end of corruption by both the public and private sectors. He says it will also curb the increasing low wages received by workers.
This may signal an end to lower wages, insecure working conditions, poor working conditions, and a two-tier labor market system that have introduced precariety in the labor market like you have never seen before. This is a step towards ending corruption, both in the public sector and in the private sector. This is the only route towards ending the current inequalities in income.
South Africa's Labour is divided on its participation in the National Convention for Dialogue. While COSATU and FEDUSA are in attendance at the convention, SAFTU has opted to boycott the process. SAFTU lists several areas of concern cited by legacy foundations that have also pulled out of the convention as the reason behind the boycott. This includes what SAFTU terms as the lack of genuine participation by sectors of the public, including civil society, and the absence of transparency that the Federation says takes away from the process. Newtown Masuku is SAFTU's national spokesperson.
We therefore announce the suspension of SAFTU's participation in the national dialogue until the process is structured to ensure it is genuinely citizen-led and inclusive. The process of workers, communities, and other excluded sectors are given equal weight in shaping the agenda and the outcomes, until there's full transparency in decision-making, resource allocation, and facilitation of the dialogue, and until the government commits to addressing the substantive policy and structural change demands that emerge from the dialogue, rather than using it for public relations purposes.
Oil prices have slipped as markets are focused on today's meeting in Alaska between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. International benchmark Brent crude fell 0.57% to $66.8 a barrel, down from $66.46 at Thursday's close. U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate decreased 0.61% to $62.72 per barrel compared to $63.1 in the previous session. And finally, U.S. retail sales have increased solidly in July, boosted by strong demand for motor vehicles, as well as promotions by Amazon and Walmart. Retail sales rose 0.5% last month after an upwardly revised 0.9% gain in June. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast retail sales, which are mostly goods and are not adjusted for inflation, advancing 0.5% after a previously reported 0.6% rise in June. The US dollar has slipped back, handing back some of the previous session's strong gains ahead of monthly retail sales data. In a meeting between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin earlier today, the dollar index, which tracks the greenback against a basket of 6 other currencies, traded 0.4% lower at 97.750 after sharp gains the prior session. Trump and Putin are set to hold talks in Alaska later in the session to try and negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. Your financial indicators: $1 US in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 532. In Botswana, it's 13.26. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 412. And in Zambia, it's 23 kwacha 10. The BRICS countries: $1 in Brazil is trading at 5.40. Russia is 79 rubles 64. India, it's 87 rupees 57. China, it's 7 yuan 17. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 56. $1 is trading at 73 pence, British pound, and 85 to the euro. Looking at commodities, gold is trading at $3,341 and platinum at $1,355 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.26 a barrel. Now, for any business news stories you would like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business, I'm Mosito Soma.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Annie Kalonji
sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons à présent dérouler notre tapis rouge pour accueillir notre personnalité du jour, l'artiste chanteur Sheki Frey, qui est en ligne de Guinée avec nous.
Je suis un artiste guinéen, un créateur, un styliste. Et je fais un peu ce qui plaît à mes fans. Voilà, c'est un peu ça. On a beaucoup de genres de trucs à faire, mais bon, pour le moment, on est basé un peu sur le rap.
D'accord. À quelle période de votre vie avez-vous commencé à vous intéresser à la musique, Sheki?
Bon, je crois pas qu'il y ait une période, parce que moi, je suis un mélomane depuis mon petit âge.
Annika Longi, tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world. On Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Dakareva Wani. Ah!
Well done, well done.
Award-winning artist Feli Nandi still joining us in studio. We're hanging out with her because she'll be performing tomorrow night at the Hard Rock Cafe for a night with Feli Nandi. Tickets still available?
Yes.
Walk-ins allowed on the night?
No.
No walk-ins. You must buy your tickets in advance.
You buy your tickets in advance on the online.
Online. All right.
Yes.
We'll find out those details in a moment. Let's take a quick breather before we continue our conversation with Feli Nandi.
AUSISA, the Association of Water and Sanitation Institution of South Africa, is a platform uniting Africa's water professionals. This November, Africa leads the conversation on water and sanitation. Join global and African leaders at the AUSISA Africa and Global South Dialogue 2025 from the 9th till the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace, Johannesburg. From policy innovation, this is where action meets collaboration for a water-secure future. Register today at ausisa-watersan-dialogue.org or follow at AUSISA on social media. AUSISA, working together for sustainable water and sanitation security in Africa. Whatever you want to hear about today's talk, you can get it on the Upside.
10 minutes to go till it's 4 p.m. in Central African time. Thank you for your listening ear. So wonderful to have you join us as we are still in conversation with Feli Nandi. Now I've got hi-oh in my head. Oh my goodness. This is how you know a piece of music is good. If it grabs you in the first 5 seconds, it's a good song. That's it. You don't need any more time. Okay, you don't need 10 minutes to figure it out. No, 5 seconds. And that's it, okay? Ndagareva Wani is like definitely added to my playlist without a doubt. Talk to me about your work with other organizations. I believe you've got ambassadorships happening. Tell us about that and why that work is close to your heart.
I'm a green and gender ambassador for EU.
That's the one.
So we fight against gender-based violence. We work with young women that have been through traumatic experiences, and we talk against child marriages. And that is a topic that is very close to my heart. I'm a girls. You know, I like to see fellow women doing amazing. So anything that has to do with protecting them and preaching the word and being their role model, it's something that I love to do. Yeah.
Role models for you growing up. Actually, before you answer that, Ndakareva Wani, I forgot to tell them that it means I told you.
Yeah, I told you.
I told you.
I told you.
Context?
It's a song. Yeah, the song is talking about a young lady who was now telling her mother that I told you I wanted to get out of this marriage, but you said stay because what will the society say? What will church say? And you said that's what marriage is all about. Men are like that. And then eventually this guy has killed me. Something like that. Yeah.
Deep meaning behind that song.
Yeah.
Inspirations, role models for you growing up, not necessarily in the space of music, but women that you looked up to growing up. Even now, perhaps.
I just used to think I sing like Whitney Houston.
I love that.
I don't know where
it's not far off.
I don't know where I got that from.
Well,
growing up, I can see that I was lying a lot. Of course. And I mean, you won't talk about Zimbabwe music if you don't talk about the late Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi. And I'm also Thomas Mapfumo had.
Oh, yes.
I love me some Dr. Mapfumo as well. So I think for me, Chioniso Maraire, Stella Chiweshe, of course. Those were my, and of course, the greatest of all, my late mom. That one is number one role model of all time. Yeah.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say John Chibandura. I was like, oh, now she's getting deep.
I love the music. James Chibombe. I love.
Zimbabwe has so many legends. I think that's actually what we're trying to highlight here, is that there is a tradition here that has been followed. That is moving in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the performance then at Hard Rock Cafe. I'm very wary about asking artists, what can we expect? Because, you know,
because we're just going to say the same
I
thing.
think you really just need to get a ticket, you know.
Yeah.
But just in terms of how you kind of want people to experience a live performance by Feli Nandi, you know, perhaps that's the question.
Well, this one we're very excited because I'm excited and nervous. We're just gonna pray a lot because this is a different crowd. The editions in Harare, those are like, girl, let's go. But this one is a new crowd, and I'm excited for myself and for them. We're gonna cry together. We're going to get in our emotions together. So I'm happy. Let's see how tomorrow night goes.
And where can we get tickets?
So tickets are selling online, web tickets.
Web tickets.
Yes. Okay. The first phase was sold out. See, I told you, sold out shows.
Look at that.
And then we opened another link for new tickets. So we're excited. Let's go.
Love that. Before we let you go, because we've been having such a fantastic time with you in studio. I want to throw some quick fire questions in your direction. Starting with this one. Would you rather perform for a small intimate audience or a massive festival crowd?
Small intimate.
Would you rather record in the studio all week or tour across Africa for a month?
Studio all week.
Win a Grammy or sell out Madison Square Garden?
Sell out.
Collaborate with a music legend from the past or a rising African star of today?
That one is hard now.
No. You can skip that one. That's a hard one.
Okay, all right. Wear a bold, colorful stage outfit or a simple, elegant one?
Bold, colorful.
Have a song go viral on TikTok or be featured in a major film soundtrack?
Oh, film soundtrack.
Play a surprise pop-up show in Harare or in Johannesburg?
Oh, pass. That one, no pass.
And my final question to you. Write songs on the mountains or by the ocean?
Mountains.
You're a mountain girl.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the correct answer. Oh man, Feli Nandi, you are a happy new discovery for me.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to spread this music far and wide. Congratulations just on everything.
Thank you very much.
And best wishes for tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank
Feli
you so much.
Nandi
Thank you,
leaving the building.
Yeah, you guys can play drums, but I don't want you in my band.
Oh my God, there goes that audition. Okay, here we are. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please stream the music on all the good quality platforms. Ndakareva Wani is a good place to start, clearly. Okay, such a beautiful song. And I always say, music of this quality at this level, have a good pair of headphones. Don't deny yourself beautiful things, please. Okay, so you can hear everything. Otherwise, she will be at the Hard Rock Cafe. If you want to experience her live, she will be there performing for you in Sandton City. Catch an e-hailing, pour petrol in your vehicle, catch a train, a bus, and a plane, and get yourself there and bring all your loved ones. It's going to be a wonderful one-night only experience. Tebogo, we had a good time, didn't we?
We had a fantastic time.
Yes,
some
we
music coming your way, and then we'll throw forward to Tami Ngubeni with Africa in Business.